Moving on to Unit 3, we have linear functions. So we're going to start with relations and functions. And 17 says which tables do not represent a function. So if you remember, a function means that each input has exactly one output, which means that each x goes to exactly one y. So now let's look at our options here. For number 1, we look at our x's. We have -4 goes to -5, -2, -2, 0 to 2, and 3 to -5. So if we look at our x's only, which are the inputs, since none of these repeat themselves, then this one has to be a function. For number 2, we have our x's are -2, 0, -2. So we have a problem here because we have two -2's for x's. So this is saying that -2 maps to 5, and -2 is mapped to -5. So since -2 goes to both 5 and -5, that means we have more than one output for one input. So this one right here is not an input, or not a function, which means 2 is one of our answers. If we look at 3, our x values are -3, -1, -1, -3. So our first problem here is we have two -3's. And again, one goes to -7, the other goes to -1. So right away we know this is not a function. But also we have two -1's. So one -1 goes to -5, the other goes to -3, which also is not allowed. On the last one, we have -4, -1, 2, and 5. And notice all of our y values are the same. So your y values can repeat themselves. That's okay. All your x's have to be different here. So since all of these are different, that is a function. So our answer here, it said which do not represent a function. The answer would be 2 and 3. Now 18, this is about function notation. So it says if f of x equals 2 times 5 minus x, what is the value of f of -2? So whatever is inside here is basically like our x. So all we have to do is take our original one. So f of x equals 2 times 5 minus x. And we just replace everywhere that there's an x with a -2 if we want to find f of -2. So I have f of -2 is 2 times f minus, now since there's an x here, we replace that x with a -2. And then we just simplify. So f of -2 is, let's simplify inside our parentheses first. So 5 minus -2. So remember, minus and negative becomes a plus. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Then we just multiply. So f of -2 equals 2 times 7, which is 14. On 19, we're going to do the same thing, except it wants f of -1. So I'll replace all of my x's with a -1. F of -1 equals, we copy down this exact equation they gave us, except now when we get to this x, we replace it with a -1. So f of -1 equals, let's simplify inside our parentheses. So we have 2, -3 minus 1. When you multiply those together, -3 times -1, you get a +3. Then f of -1 equals, we have -3, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So our final answer here, f of -1 equals -3 times 5 is -15. So all you do is replace whatever's in the parentheses for your x's, and it will give you the answer when you simplify it.